Hello, everybody.
Hey, guys.
All righty. We are super excited to be chatting with you guys tonight and doing our final farewell call from an amazing quarter four. So congratulations, everybody. There was a lot of wins from this last quarter. We have never closed out a Leaders Retreat contest at the end of a year like we did. And so even in the midst of all the holiday festivities and family and all of that, congratulations for showing up and so many Leaders Retreat earners. It's going to be a great, great time. So we are going to open the call with prayer.
Yep.
Justin, are you game for doing that for us?
Okay, let's pray. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for 2021. And we praise you for all the things that you have done in 2021, and we trust you for all the things to come in 2022. I pray that you would fill our backbones with iron. I ask, Lord, that you give us a willingness to work, a willingness to serve like never before, and to love people like never before. And I pray that you would bless each one of us, our families, and our businesses. And we pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Did you catch that? Justin's famous for great one-liners. Work, serve, and love. I think those are great things to go into this new year with an intention to up-level in those areas. So Carissa had popped in the chat some questions, some really clarifying good questions. We were wanting to lead you guys in an exercise really to help reflect and also to self-coach, because really all of us can get better at one, reflecting, and two, asking ourselves good questions and kind of self-coaching. And so we are not going to necessarily dive deep with just one person tonight. We would like to do a little bit more like horizontal, not as deep, but have more people contribute. So Carissa, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you and let you explain the rest.
Okay, so in the chat, you'll see two little prompts, and they are, one thing I did right in Q4 was, and one thing I got wrong in Q4 was, and this is to encourage us to really, really continually point the finger inward. Sorry, I'm hearing my 2-year-old and it's distracting me. Daddy's doing bedtime. We really want to point the finger inward, and please hear me say, it's not a finger of blame. It's not a finger of fault. Those terms don't tend to be helpful, but it's accountability, it's responsibility. Let me mute real quick. Megan, take over for a second. It's going to get loud.
Hey, yeah, so this is an example of taking ownership. So I talked about this in Diamonds in December, those videos, about taking extreme ownership. And this is not something to be causing shame, but honestly, it's well, if you're on my team call here just a little bit ago, it's another hallmark of successful Plexus ambassadors. It's the ability to self-coach, the ability to evaluate where you're at and how you need to shift moving forward. Oops, I can't see.
Okay, I think I can come back on now. Okay. It was like a stampede coming up our stairs. Thank you, and yes. So let me look at my notes real quick because I wanted to read it exactly how I worded it. Okay, so specifically too, with that second prompt, what is something that I did right in Q4? And you can even expand it if you want to look at all of 2021 and think of the things that you feel like you did really well that you want to carry on. But I know that for me personally, and for many from my team, quarter 4 was a really not just fruitful, but we were all, I feel like, putting in extra effort as part of this group. I think the coaching really stimulated a lot of activity for the people that committed to be part of it. And then we dove into November with our 21 hard IPA checklist. And then we carried on into December with adding duplication IPAs into that. So I feel like a lot of what we're really proud of is going to be concentrated in quarter 4. And So that's why we specified that, but feel free to kind of go into the whole year. And when you're thinking about what's something that I got wrong this last year that I don't want to continue into 2022, I think another helpful question is, what are the skills I need to improve in? What are the skills my team needs to improve in? I hear a lot from those on my team who are kind of wanting to check out, or they're kind of wanting to fade off into the abyss a little bit. And I'm tapping in there like, hey, what's going on? I hear a lot of, well, I'm good at this, but this piece, is just not working for me. And there's a lot of, when we say things like that, there's a lot of trying to push the responsibility outward. And I want to dial that responsibility back inward and prompt everybody to think about, what's the skill I need to grow in? What's the skill my team needs to grow in? And what actions am I going to start taking to learn that skill, or teach my team that skill, or model that skill to my team? So I really, really want us to be focused on terminology is important. And so really, really shifting that terminology so that we understand that maybe I'm not great at that now, but it's a skill I'm going to learn. It's a skill that my team needs to have modeled to them and be taught. Okay, so I'm going to start bringing some things to Megan and Justin, are going to kind of ask some curious questions to kind of get discussion flowing. And I'm going to kind of bring y'all what I see in the chat. But right off the bat, have you been reading while I've been talking?
Yes. Lisa Foster is the only one so far that has popped anything in the chat. Oh, Stephanie has as well.
Perfect.
So those two might be good to start with.
Okay. So Lisa says, the thing I've done right is being more timely, linking arms with another leader to run consistently. Thing I did wrong, when the going got tough and things got busier with the holidays, I put my business on the back burner and I paid for it. I need to improve in leaning into the hard, the parts like reaching out about the business to my newbies bravely and not avoiding it, and learning to build leaders. So do you all want to start with that?
Sorry, we're muted. So curious what it looked like for you to put, where's Lisa? Oh, there you are. To when you put your business on the back burner during the holidays, two questions I have is, what did that look like exactly? And for how long? Was it just like Christmas Day, or was that like the entire month of November and December?
Do I have to answer that?
Well, I'm actually kind of curious, and like what that means exactly. Like,
yeah.
Well, or
we had a lot of company coming and going, and our kids are at a distance. And so when that happened, I found myself, you have to pick and choose. And I also needed to get schooling done with my son. And I felt like, I can use that as an excuse. But at the same time, I found myself pretty overwhelmed with more and more to do each day. And so I tended to put aside, sorry, here he comes. Okay. Mm-hmm. I tended to put aside my business because I knew I needed to get some of that other stuff done. Some of it was Christmas shopping, and it was stuff I felt like I had to do that I didn't really have a choice on. But at the same time, I think, it's always, you pick your battles and you pick your things. And I set it aside thinking, I could fight this and I could have it hanging over my head. But in the end, it kind of did hang over my head, because at night I would think about it, and it would bother me. Because I knew I was neglecting things that I shouldn't be neglecting. So maybe being even tighter with my time, or nitpicking more about where am I spending each moment, rather than taking a whole day and going, well, this day's shot because I know I have to, shop today or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever do checklists for yourself? Like,
I do.
Post-it note, because maybe there's like when I have a perfect 2-hour chunk to work my business, this is what I get done. But like, if that time is crunched into 30 minutes, like I only have like 15 minutes first thing in the morning, and then like maybe a half an hour before I go to bed. If you only have that much amount of time, what would be the top things that you would want to get done?
Are you asking me that, or are you just saying that's what I should be doing?
Well, I'm just asking you, like, what would those things be?
Yeah. Well, I feel like one of the top things should be reaching out to new people to inquire more about Plexus, because otherwise how am I going to grow my business? But I also need to be reaching down to do customer care as well. And I found myself kind of maybe a little bit drowning in that, because I had a lot of people I should be checking on. And so I would do some, and then I'd do some others. And I do keep lists of what I'm doing and what I'm needing to do the next day. And then as I find myself, as I'm pulling a video or something to send to somebody, I'll think of 2 or 3 other people that that would be really good for them too. And so I'll quick ship it out to 2 or 3 others as well. But so sometimes I'll get going and I just don't stop, and then I neglect my time for teaching, and then that gets me in trouble too. So I need to, time budgeting has always been the tough thing. That's what Carissa coached me on a while back. And so that's something I feel like I'm getting better at, but I still have a ways to go.
Yeah, no, those are good things. What about posting? Is that kind of a just non-negotiable? You do it anyways, or not necessarily?
Yeah. I get faithful for quite a while with that. And then if I get busy, I'll think, I didn't post today. And then I post at the wrong time, and then it doesn't really get much traction. So then I frustrate myself sometimes doing it too. Okay. I feel like I almost need to have a set time of the day that I'm really, if you can only post once a day, isn't evening best? Is that what I'm thinking? Is that right?
I don't think it matters. I
honestly
don't think it matters.
Okay.
Something that, the way my brain works is sometimes like, if I can't do it all, then I'm not going to do any of it. I don't know if that's how you think too, but I think we have to shift out of that and say, what could I do today to be consistent? Even I just think of like my kids practicing piano or doing school. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's like, okay, making sure 7 kids spent 30 minutes practicing piano, or that I sat with each of them, like, wow, that can sometimes be like, oh my word. But sometimes I'm like, you know what? If they have 10 minutes between whatever, doing a chore and eating supper, go practice one of your songs on piano. Like, something is better than doing nothing, right? And it will move the needle forward just a tiny bit. And so I don't know if that helps you at all, but to allow yourself on super busy days to have like a short list of maybe you could like pick an hour on a Saturday and do all your customer care. I blitz in my business, so like I'm not necessarily reaching out every single day. I just said that, but I think the idea is in a weekly average, how many new conversations did you create? If you're busy with Christmas stuff Monday through Friday, maybe on Saturday you're going to be like, you know what? I have a 2-hour time frame blocked in the afternoon. I'm going to bang it out during that time, and I'll get my 25 reach outs done that day. So I don't know if that helps alleviate some like mental stress for you, but that's sometimes how I've just had to work my business, and it's okay. But it's like on the average. But I think it's when you like fall off the bandwagon of your own expectations and your own checklist that sometimes it can become, well, check the whole thing. I just don't have time right now.
That's kind of how I felt. I almost felt like I was seeing a lot of interaction on our chat. And in the beginning, I was like, oh, I can't possibly keep up with all that. So I kind of just hung it up temporary. I knew it was temporary in my mind, because I do come back. Like, it's not like I skipped the whole month. I did interact in pieces like what you're saying. It makes me feel better to hear you say I don't do it it's kind of how I do it. I'll have some days where I'm really, really heavy, and other days where I don't do anything because I just can't get to it. But I feel like on the average, I'm still a consistent. I don't just never show up. But I didn't show up enough to dig, to follow up or reach out to the people that I needed to bring in, because I didn't have anybody join me. I mean, this in December, and it was my own. I know that was me not reaching out enough.
Okay. Well, and sometimes it's sometimes if you haven't been consistent like the month before, then the results don't really show for that until the following month, when you're like, next time, I have 48 hours to sign 6 people. And if there's not enough conversations started, sometimes 1, we get into like desperation mode. And then 2, like there's not even enough conversation. So that's one thing that you could shift for next time, like in a busy month like December, is to pre-plan, because you already know it's going to be a crazy month. Like, what are the top things that I need to make sure I get done over a week's time? And even like Carissa says, work in those protected plexus hours, because on a weekly average, even in a bit really busy like December week, when you know you have company coming in, you have presents to buy and things like that, I know there's still like snatches of time, even if it's in 15-minute increments, or you have to just pre-plan that you get up earlier. Do you have anything that you want to?
Yeah, just one thing. The very last thing you said, learning to build builders. And there is an aspect, I think, of developing people. It's interesting, though, to me, I've learned over time, we develop silvers, we develop golds, we recruit diamonds. So there's something I want to say about that. It will save you a lot of time to get over the fear of reaching out about the business.
No,
We don't develop, we just don't. I mean, some people might claim they develop the diamond or whatever. I believe diamonds are recruited, because there's something there that they have that others don't have a lot of times. Not every time. Everybody can become a diamond. It's a matter of actually doing the things. But the thing you're talking about, let me see your list. Improving and leaning into the hard, reaching out about the biz to newbies bravely and not avoiding it. Reaching out, like leaning into that hard thing and that hard conversation of sharing the business and reaching out to scary people will save you a lot of time in building builders. Like
I think I'm not sure what to say to them, because I feel like I'm not sure what I have to offer them, because I don't feel like I've progressed quickly enough, high enough to give them, you know what I mean? I've been at it for 8 years and I'm senior gold, and I sit here going, I'm not sure that would be very exciting for them to hear if they started looking at how long it took me, you know what I mean, to get to where I'm at. So I said, I kind of hesitate because I'm not sure.
I don't think that has any bearing.
Okay.
People that are success minded and are looking for another opportunity or another stream of income, successful people will make time for new and good opportunities. You don't have to create anything. Plexus has already created it. We have the products are already set aside for us. The compensation plan is already set aside for us. They're launching into the rest of the globe, as we move forward. Like, all of those things have been put together. I don't know that you have to. I don't know that I wouldn't be afraid of your rank at all.
I think as far as developing helping people rank up, part of that too is I feel like I haven't. I've been at this for 8 years and I've had a few silvers, but they've all dropped off. And then I'll have a few more and then they all drop off. Then I'll have a few more. And it's like I can't seem to get people beyond that or help people get beyond that. So I guess I'm recruiting the wrong people. I don't know. And that's where
not necessarily the wrong people, because we love the wholesalers. We love the VIP customer. We love the people that take the products. The products are amazing. But when it comes to the business side, the frustration really sets in when we try to make a wholesaler a business builder. It's just frustrating. It's like, it's a lot of work. Now, there are some sifting processes too, where, I understand that, to where we recruit somebody and then they do the business later and they blow it up. I mean, that happens sometimes. I'm not saying you're going to recruit someone necessarily day one and they're going to take off, but a lot of times the frustration and the burnout comes in trying to make someone something they're not. And so when we're afraid to reach out to the business, and we always reach out about the product, we're going to get people that are interested in the product. If that's all they know about, that's all we've sold them. That's all we've marketed to our market. So, but when we try to make them a business builder, it can get really frustrating. So we have to, if we're going to win in this business, you have to reach out about the business.
So somebody in my, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Somebody at my level reaching out, what would you say to somebody that you're wanting to talk to? What would impress them or what would draw them?
I think that your thoughts about where you're at in your business is holding you back from being bold with the opportunity for people, because and it's that idea of our success is the result of our thoughts being in the right place. And so and I think it goes back to a belief thing. Do you really believe this is a life-changing opportunity for anybody that comes and joins you? Because think about how much money you make per month with gold. For some people, that amount of income for 8 years is life-changing. Yep. It's incredible. So I think we have to get out of our mindset like it's only life-changing once people are diamond, right? And so I think that's working on your own posture of what you have, that it is exciting, it is fun, it's like you want people to be introduced to what you have. And so just to throw a bow around this, I would just get excited about what you have until, if you have, we've gone through like our dream team list, we've made that, whoever is on that list, I would reach out to them and say, hey, I've thought of you multiple times. I've been like too scared to reach out for whatever goofy reason, because I think that you would be great at what I do with Plexus. Curious if you're open to chatting more about it. That's how I helped my friend Chelsea sign up in August, and she is almost fast start senior gold. She just fast start gold her husband, and she started for the business. And so I think that our excitement and enthusiasm about, you should do this with me, it's so fun, like it can be something simple like that. I don't think you necessarily have to create this big thing about trying to sell it to them,
Right.
Can I chime in too for just a quick second? I would also encourage you to shift the focus to them and start showering them with why they would be amazing. Get specific about their gifts. Get specific about what about them is infectious or alluring, or whatever it might be, and really shift that focus away from like, what is it about me that they need to be looking at and going, this is why you would be good at this. And you can also look around you in Plexus and say, oh, there is a senior Ruby that totally reminds me of this potential that I've got my eye on. I'm going to send her, say, look, you remind me of this senior Ruby. Look how successful she is. And she reminds me of you. She has this gift like you have. Or, hey, look over here at this Emerald. She really reminds me of you. So I think that will also be a big tool with what you say to people. So guys, it's 8:25. We wanted to keep this call right at 30 minutes. We can go longer, but my team and I are going to jump off right at 8:30. We have another call right after this. So Megan and Justin, I was going to pull us over to another person, Stephanie, who said she can tell that she really needs to grow the skill of communication. She said she feels like people don't necessarily want to engage and communicate back with her. And I remember this coming up a little bit when we coached Melody. I don't know if she's on tonight, but I remember that kind of coming up, like getting engagement with people and growing the skill of communication. So y'all could touch on that. And then if we have time, we can move on to Amber's comment, which is really meaty too, but I might not be on the call in time for that. Is Stephanie on? Stephanie, are you?
Yeah.
Where can you show your face? Oh, there she is. Okay, can you unmute?
Okay. So I'm curious, are you talking about communicating with potentials or people already on your team?
Both.
Okay.
I've been using your sprinkle campaign for the follow-up, and 9 out of 10 people, they just won't get back with me. And then all of a sudden, 3 weeks in, nothing's working, and I find out they aren't taking their supplements. But it's not because I'm not reaching out to them. Like, I am trying to, like, I have my little timer set on my phone, so I know to go in and check with them. I'm commenting on their stuff on Facebook, so it's not just like, oh, I'm only messaging them Plexus stuff. Like, I'm doing all the things, and then I'll find out, later on if they say anything, or sometimes they just turn their sub off. And so I'm just like, I don't know. And going in too, that's the other thing, because I've learned this from a lot of your guys' stuff. Like going in, I'm very upfront with people. Like, you've got to give it 3 months minimum. Like, I tell them all the stuff. So it's not like I'm like getting them in by the skin of their teeth. Like, I'm very upfront with people.
Okay. And when you sign people, are you on the phone with them?
Most of the time.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, if you're not on the phone when you first start doing that. Just like make it your system this year to shift that. So any of you that are on the call that have not been signing up people on the phone, I would do that. And that, because I feel like that opens up more conversation than just texting back and forth. Sign them up, one and done, boom, move on to the next person, right? So I wonder if you shortened your message into something shorter and more succinct. The other thing is maybe from the get-go, like someone else is mentioning, bringing them into a 3-way message before they go silent. So maybe right once you hop off the call with them, maybe you pop them in a 3-way with your sponsor and just say, hey, I wanted to introduce you to my sweet sponsor.
I do that.
You do? Okay.
I do. I have Melody in so many 3-ways.
Brenda or Carissa, do you have any
I was
thoughts
going to say the biggest thing I see is that people can sniff out when you're using someone else's wording because they know you well enough to know how you talk. And so I would say maybe it's just as simple as you need to tweak it to your voice, use your own little, like I don't talk like Megan Goff. She's always using like LIL for little and like, I don't know, just little things I don't do. But it's like, that's Megan's voice. So maybe it's just as simple as like tweaking it to use your own voice and always ending in a question. That's just my one little tip as I have to say my farewell. So I'm going to jump on and watch the recording because I really want to see everything else. But my team and I have a call at 8:30. So, but Megan and Justin, after you guys talk with Stephanie, I think we should talk with Amber.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have one quick thought for Stephanie too. Would you say your average ambassador, customer, whatever that is being this way, you had to kind of, really work with them and talk them into getting them on the product? So they come to you excited because they were ready to start?
Most of them have come to me first.
Okay.
I mean, like I've engaged with them in the past. They've seen stuff in the past, but most of the time when somebody's signing up, they've sent me a message and they're like, I'm ready. I want this. I want to do blah, blah, blah. And I check with their health goals, make sure they're, I'm aware of where they're at. And I kind of go through, the process.
Okay. I just had that thought because if they were a little hesitant to begin with, they're going to maybe stay a little hesitant in that communication. So that was just a question. And then the other thing I thought of is, are you making the wording a lot about them specifically, like with a lot of questions, so they will get back to you, or is it a lot of just information?
There's at least a couple of questions in most follow-up. Like I double check on their dosage. I try to let them know if they're having like symptoms, let me know. And I kind of, because I don't want them to be surprised by detox. So I send like, there's that detox video. I really like that one. So it kind of like keeps them in the know, but then I'm asking, do you have any of these symptoms, or have you noticed any of this, or what is your current dosage? How is your water, drinking your water? And especially if I have someone engaging, it's easy because then I can be really going through things and reminding them of the importance of different steps. But then when like they don't say anything for 2 or 3 weeks and all of a sudden it's like, this stuff's not working, I've had a headache for 5 weeks, and then I'm like, well, you didn't say anything.
Yeah. Well, it might be time to do kind of like Cassie mentioned here, call them out. Just say, hey, I haven't heard from you. I'm just like wondering if you don't really want to have success in this. Do you really care about having the support? Because I so bad want to hear how it's going for you. Like just, I've really kind of put some pressure on like, hey, I'm here to help you. And I can't do that if I don't hear from you, in a nice way. So maybe it's time to do something like that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you may try a different way of contacting them. Maybe try calling them, maybe text them instead of Facebook message, maybe switch to voice messaging. And here's another thing. I mean, if you're checking all the boxes, so to speak, in terms of you're doing the right things, I would also make sure that the messages are short. Sometimes I send like a little teaser to just get a response. So maybe it's even something where you kind of joke and say, hey, are you live over there? Just checking in. Sometimes I ask for a product, just say, hey, I'm swinging through the people on my team that are using the products, and I would love to hear your product experience. I would love to hear your wins. I would love to hear how things are going. I'm super curious. Okay, so if you've checked all the boxes, then I would just say, you know what, you've done your job. And in this business, there is the bathtub thing. The water's coming in, there's some water coming out. So my mantra is work with the willing. I mean, if it helps you to hear that I have people that don't respond back to me, it happens to me too. So I don't know if that was helpful, but those are just some things to think through.
Yeah, I guess somewhat. I think some of my problem is like, I have spent the majority of my life avoiding conversations and communicating. You know that verse that says, like, don't let a fool open his mouth so that he'll be known as a fool. Like, I took that to heart when I was like 8. So I didn't say anything. So like, I think that is part of my struggle. Like, I really think I have to learn to communicate better with people, because I even struggle with like my reaching out and my expanding my network and stuff like that. So like, I know that's why I'm kind of stuck where I'm at, because I have to grow through that. So that's why I think it's something with my communicating.
Okay. Well, perhaps you need to explore your mindset behind the message sent. So explore to see if there's some sort of insecurity, or maybe some affirmations or some things you need to listen to before you do some reach outs. I would go back to that little soundbite video that Carissa did years ago. That helped me a bunch, because the more you listen to other people's verbiage, the more it becomes the way you think. And so that might be a helpful little thing to listen to. She's not giving like verbatim what to say, but just little sound bites that I found super helpful. So yeah, good things, but I'm glad you're aware of that, because it'll be interesting to see how some little tweaks might help you this year. Thank you for chiming in. We are going to move to Amber's comment. She said she did right this year. She was consistent, put in extra work, dug in, didn't use anything to allow myself to check out. Became bolder in my reach outs and messages. And because of that, Amber earned Leaders Retreat, and I'm super excited for her. And she had her highest points ever in December. So, and that was in spite of a major surgery, either right before or right after Christmas. So there you are, Amber. So congratulations on all of that. To do better on, I wished for my goals to be reached instead of reaching out for business peeps. I also put a lot of my business goals on people on my team who really didn't want to put the time and effort in. Ooh, that's really good. Brenda and Justin, I might ask you to speak to this to see what clarifying questions you have for her.
Well, the first thing I would say is congratulations for putting in the extra work. I think a lot of times in this business, when we talk to people and they're not where they want to be, it's because they're not putting in the work. That's pretty much like 99% of the people who aren't where they want to be is because they're not doing the work, or at least they're not doing it consistently. And so you put in the extra work. I like the word you dug in. That's not like doing a little bit of work. Like you're preparing. You're not gonna budge. And you didn't use anything to allow myself to check out. So that sort of championship mindset is what's needed, to win in this business. So the first thing I would say is congratulations on doing those things. I think that's awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Tell me what this means. I wish for my goals to be reached instead of reaching out for business peeps. What does that mean exactly?
Well, I kind of just followed like your daily IPA and hoped that something would happen. But I really feel like with this group, it opened my eyes to what it really meant to run a business. You know, like that 21 hard group really opened my eyes to all of the different things that you can do instead of just doing like the daily high fives or whatever. So I feel like I was being specific about what I was doing and not just, well, I hope something happens from this kind of mindset.
Okay, I got it. And then the last part, I also put a lot of business goals on people on my team who really didn't want to put the time and effort in. Tell me a little bit about that exactly. What is that specific?
I feel like I went around in circles a lot, going back to people whom I felt like I wanted it more than they did. And I felt like a lot of time was spent there. And instead of spending it on reaching out to new people for the business. So I feel like, again, with these power hours and the checklist, it really helped me to go, okay, I've got to find someone who I don't have to drag through this, like that really just wants it. And it happened. Like I found someone that really wants to be a runner and wants to do this. And so, I mean, I don't want to like I'm thankful for everybody on my team. I don't want it to sound like that, but to find someone who is like really in it is helpful.
Mm-hmm. Well, so on that, I would say congratulations, because I think that's a sign of maturing in your business. Because one thing is that sometimes we know it's like, okay, nothing is happening here. I need to build a new team, or I need to build not necessarily a new team, maybe a new leg, right?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes there's guilt in that. It's like, oh, I don't want to. It almost feels like you're cheating on, like you're like being unfaithful to your team that you kind of started with. But it's a sign of maturity, and especially if you have people on your team to where they really don't want to grow. It's first off, it's okay. You can be in Plexus and be a happy wholesaler and just enjoy our awesome products. That's okay. When it comes to the business side of it, you may have to just do that. You may just have to keep some of your customers happy with what they're doing, and they're making sure that they're still hitting their goals in light of their health goals with the products. But you may just have to just say, okay, I've reached out, and you might have to build a whole nother leg or a whole nother team. If that's possible. So I see that as a huge step of maturity in your business, to be able to do that. I think some people are afraid to do it because they think, well, what will my original people think? Or what will, whatever, we have all these different things that run through our mind. But so a huge high five to you for doing that. And just having discernment on what some of those teammates want or don't want. That's a huge help.
Yeah, I really felt like I just had like this huge shift when I think, did we start in October with this? The 21 boot camp was at October. I just felt like that was a huge shift for me, because there were a lot of big things that happened in the first of the year that I really could have just used as excuses to not, just to kind of glide through this year. And so that really pushed me. So I'm thankful for that for sure.
I just want to say yay for being bold, becoming bolder. You said in your reach outs and messages, I'm assuming your team is probably seeing that and sensing that. So those that you felt like you were dragging might be inspired by your boldness. So, and then in fact, what I've noticed is sometimes my team it's maybe not in essence what it really is, but it almost appears like when there's a good runner really going for it, everybody gets jealous and like wants what they have, and it motivates and inspires. So maybe you're making some of your team jealous.
I think that there is something to like the spirit behind how we show up. And so when you choose to show up in your excellence and you're bold and you're excited and you're enthusiastic, like you probably haven't even gleaned all the fruit from that shift that happened a couple months ago, because all that fruit is going to come to pass in the months to come. Like sometimes we don't see immediate results from those shifts, but it's to come. Mm-hmm. So that's exciting.
My recommendation to you would be, don't change a thing. Keep doing exactly what you're doing. Mm-hmm. You ended the year with a win. Keep moving in that direction. Yeah. I think it's extremely encouraging to hear what's going on with you.
Well, and you have the potential to end at Senior Gold this month because of where your points ended and the people. Really, it's interesting when you see like, oh, this is how you make it work. Like your points are in a good spot. Plus you have A, B, C, D things aligning with I say right people, but people that are willing to work and that want it and are willing to work on goals, where it's not just you on the hamster wheel trying to do it all by yourself, but you have team now that's starting to rise up.
And I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, and I have like the amazing power partner. And so we even went, listen, we're going to pick one of those checklists if nothing comes out, and we're going to do that again. So I'm super thankful to have someone to run with too. That's really great.
Yay. That's awesome. I want to talk to Linda really fast. So we coached Linda a few weeks ago, probably more than a few weeks ago, but she said that she did a lot of reflecting this week over her business from 21. So I love that you did that. If you have not done that yet, I just talked about this on our team call a few minutes ago. Go do it. There's, I think, our journal is uploaded. So you can go actually print out these reflective question prompts and work through that, because reflection is a key piece of success. It's a hallmark of successful people, successful Plexus ambassadors. And so she said she came up with a game plan to start the year. What I saw was I tend to go in spurts where I'm all in for a period of time and then I get discouraged and do less than I know I should for a period of time. This is what I did wrong and saw clearly where I need improvement. What I did right was that I maintained my gold rank for all of 2021 and did the 21 days hard every day and stayed committed. So Linda, that is huge. That is awesome. Congratulations. Huge wins there.
Awesome.
And I will say that vulnerability of saying what you felt like you didn't do well in 21 is the fact that I'm pretty sure all of us could relate to that for at least a season in our business, because this is something that I was jotting down when I was reading through that is there's a lot of people that tend to be blitzers and run in spurts, actually more like sprinters instead of marathon runners. And so I think if you shift to a pace that you're able to maintain, that can bring you more peace, less shame, less guilt, and just keep a sustainable baseline. And then for certain seasons, if you're like, you know what, my month looks like this is a good month to really dig in, then you can have those seasons of spurts. It's like that Success Loves Speed, Eric Worre. If you haven't listened to that, go listen or re-listen. But basically where you take a specific amount of time, even if it's a weekend, and just you massively increase action, and then you maybe go back to homeostasis or whatever that threshold is for you, to your normal pace, and then you maybe do another blitz. And so that may be something where you're able to tweak a little bit. Do you want to chime in anything specifically about those reflections of what you've noticed or realized?
I guess part of it is I realized, number one, I was valuing my sleep too much. I was sleeping in longer than I really needed to. And so I moved my phone across the bedroom and jump up now when it goes off, and I'm getting up an hour and a half earlier, and I'm finding out I'm more productive in the morning. So I'm getting a lot more done. And I made my own non-negotiable list of stuff to get done every day, and I'm getting it done. And I'm trying to do the hard things earlier and not just at the end of the night say, well, I didn't have time, I ran out of time, and letting those go, which is reaching out or messaging people about the business. So yeah, I'm just seeing things where I have not been doing my best and realizing I need to make some shifts, and I'm working on that.
Brenda, you unmuted. Were you going to say something?
No, I was just like ready to cheer her on because I mean, that is a business owner.
Yeah.
So proud of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes. So I love the fact that you noticed about yourself that you have a window of time in your day where you're operating at your highest energy level. So that's something for all of us to start to take note of and maybe block those harder actions for that specific time. And then I like that you have created a list of non-negotiables, and that actually may be a good tip for you, Lisa, with pre-deciding before the crazy hits of holidays or whatever, what your non-negotiables are. And it may be a different list than your list in February when it's cold, snowy, and no one of your kids is coming to visit and you're not hosting a bunch of people. So it's okay if your business looks different in different months or different seasons, but where there's a baseline of things that you want to get done. And I think it also protects our peace and our joy level when we have pre-decided versus having this kind of nebulous, oh my word, I'm not getting it done. And you feel like you're failing at the things, right? So those are some thoughts there. Hannah had mentioned that she feels like she can't find anyone who wants to do the business, only the products. Trying to encourage them to offer to a friend and do it with them is like pulling teeth. That's my biggest discouragement.
We started with the products.
True.
And they worked. And then we took off. So work with what you got, for one. I mean, don't give up on sharing the business, but also some people, like us, we had no intention of working a business. And I mean, I feel like we had what it takes, but it wasn't our intention. It was just to get healthy. And so, but that being successful in our health caused us to say, well, we can't not share this with people. And to be honest, we didn't start sharing the business until Megan was probably Sapphire. So it was constantly sharing products with a lot of people. I mean, thousands, easy. So, but I remember because we had gone to several events and she was a Sapphire. I was probably senior Ruby or Emerald at the time. And I remember telling her, I remember exactly where we were in our old house. I was in the closet. I don't know why. I wasn't like in the closet, but I was getting a shirt in the closet. And I remember telling her, I said, the people that are winning in this business share the business. She's like, yeah. I'm like, we need to start sharing the business if we want to take it all the way. And that was probably a changing season for us. So to encourage you, again, product people are awesome. I love them. Our products are amazing. So, make sure they're being as successful as they can be with the products and their health goals. And it's interesting to see what could happen out of that. But also at the same time, don't give up on sharing the business with people. There's so many people out there looking for business opportunity now more than ever. So keep swinging the bat. Brenda has something.
Well, I have a question for her. I don't know if she's able to speak, but are your people seeing the business? Maybe not from you, but listen to Megan and Justin. If they got to Sapphire sharing pretty much all product, they had somebody under them seeing something about the business, I am sure. If they weren't sharing it, I bet their upline was. So my thought process is going, okay, so what motivates someone to even share the product a lot other than loving it? There's some business there somewhere.
Right.
So just make sure, because I even had this written down, just to make sure to remind everybody, expose your people to successful people. Some of you have mentioned feeling like at Gold or Senior Gold, you don't have much to share about the business. That's okay. Expose them to the successful people in your team, in your life, in your upline. Make sure they are knowing what is happening around you. That's what worked for me. I was telling everybody about these stay-at-home mommies that are making 6-figure incomes. That was like my line I used for everybody when I was like golden, senior golden, telling them that's why I'm do this and why I believe it and what's going to happen for me. So don't forget that it's not all coming from you. It's from the successful people that went before you.
You just helped me think of a post. So you might see something, a stay-at-home dad, 6-figure stay-at-home dad post coming up soon from me.
Well, and I was exposed to successful people in Plexus that caused me to, like, in the back of my mind, be like, interesting. I mean, I started for products and I didn't share right away, but I saw people that I was connected with. I didn't know them personally, but I saw Shoshana successful with the business. I saw Kristen Abar, and I was like, obviously these products work because their businesses are thriving. And so I had that exposure to the business to be like, okay, this is legit. Like, yeah. So all that to say, that is a really good, really important idea. And also, Jessica Heffley shifted my mindset, because I think we all have mindset things to overcome at every level, including right now where I'm at in my business. But she said, the world runs off of business. There is absolutely nothing wrong with having a business. And I think I had a weird mindset around network marketing because it wasn't a brick and mortar type business. It was just a different type of thing. And when she said, we pay every person in every service person in our life, why is this any different? And that was like the sinker for me. And I was like, okay, I may not be Jessica Heffley, have a marketing business degree and started this for the business. I have to figure out how I, within my gift set, my interests, my perspective, share this opportunity with other people. So I think for each of us, we have to figure out how to, you don't have to be Jessica Heffley and be exactly like her in what she shares. My network would not track with that if I all of a sudden shifted gears there. But within my own personality and what I believe, I can share it with people, right? So I meant to say this on my team call, but I'm going to say it now because we helped a lot of people get started for products. And when Justin said thousands of people, that was like our team was, we weren't necessarily viewing ourselves as sharing a business. We're just like, help your friends get started. Tell them about it. It's awesome. It's exciting. Okay. We helped a lot of people before we really like understood or really knew how to promote or share the business with people. But I like what Brenda quoted a few weeks ago in her post. She said, do you know what we call the people that don't quit? And I would add, are consistent. We call those people millionaires because they didn't quit, sharing the opportunity, sharing the products, learning, right? Because we're all learning, making little pivots and tweaks to, like Amber said, she all of a sudden viewed herself, her business in a different way to move forward. And I think those shifts are what's needed as we move forward. So guys, this has been awesome. Brenda, I'm going to turn it over to you to let you kind of throw a loop around everything.
Okay, I will try. I had jotted some things down, and it turns out I'm going to repeat a lot of what was said, which is good. That's what it's all about, you guys. There's nothing new under the sun, and especially in network marketing, especially in what you have heard here with us in the past 3 months. It's so much of the same, but I want to tell you guys just a couple things to remember. You did it once. You can do it again. Think of your favorite goal that you hit or the best thing you did in 2021. If you did it once, you can do it again. In fact, you can do it even better because you've been going through all of this training. My other favorite one-liner is action cures everything. And hopefully some of you are finding that out. My challenge to you is to go re-listen to the Diamonds in December that were probably posted in all of our groups. That was a good series. And you probably listened through it once in December when everything was crazy, but listen to it again in January. Listen to them again. Especially Christina Williams. You guys, that one just really, I just had to think of so many of you in the group when I listened to her, because she says it's up to you. You are the CEO. It's you getting the discipline. Like some of you have expressed to Linda, we're so proud of you waking up earlier, that type of thing. It's you making those choices. she said if we could take the wealth of everything in the world, distribute it evenly to every person, it would eventually come back to the original people who had the most wealth, because they are still the ones who are going to do the things and go after it in the end. So I just wanted to challenge you guys to make sure you have that vision for yourself. You're a business owner, you're a CEO, you know what your why is, you know what your dream is. And then make sure that your team knows that. Without a vision, people perish. Without them knowing that you see something in them, they won't know what they don't know if you don't share it with them. So action, discipline, sharing the vision. That's kind of my 3 points I want to leave with you guys. And I can say this, and I know Justin and Megan would say the same. We only tell you guys this because it's how we learn and what we learn and what we know works. So we can't do this alone. And so thankful that we have each other. So don't forget, even though we're quitting this group little thing, find someone to be with, be in a chat, be with a power partner, be with somebody. You need each other. We don't build this alone. So it's been awesome. It's kind of hard to say goodbye. Anything yet, Justin or Megan, or are we done?
We're finished, and we're so grateful, guys. This has been so good. I have learned a bunch. I feel like I have such respect for Brenda and Carissa, both just chiming in their words of wisdom, their perspective, and so I agree. This has been awesome. All righty, we'll see you guys. Congrats for everything.
Good night, everyone.
And we'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.